Hello, everyone. Welcome to English Learning Stories. I'm your teacher, Amy, and I'm so excited to share today's wonderful collection of stories with you. This podcast is specially designed for people who are just beginning to learn English or want to practice simple English in a comfortable, supportive way. Today's episode is called Kindness and Connection, and we have 5 beautiful stories about people showing kindness to others and making meaningful connections in their daily lives. These stories will teach you important English vocabulary for describing helpful actions, good feelings, and the ways we can make the world a little brighter for each other. I will speak very slowly and clearly, using easy words and short sentences that are simple to follow. After each story, I will explain the most important vocabulary words to help you understand and remember them. Don't worry if you don't catch every word, just enjoy listening and let the English sounds become familiar to you. Our stories today show that small acts of kindness can make a big difference in people's lives. We will meet Paul, who helps his elderly neighbor with grocery shopping and discovers an unexpected friendship. We will follow Jessica as she volunteers at a local food bank and learns about giving back to her community. We will watch Chen organize a surprise birthday party for his coworker and see how teamwork creates joy. We will see how Maria uses her language skills to help new immigrants navigate daily challenges. And we will join Tom as he starts a neighborhood cleanup project that brings people together. These stories happen in places you might visit and show situations where you could make a positive difference. They will help you learn English words for talking about helping others, expressing gratitude, and building friendships through acts of service. Ready to explore these heartwarming stories? Let's begin with Paul and his helpful shopping trips. Paul lives in a small apartment building where most residents keep to themselves and rarely interact beyond polite greetings in the hallway. However, Paul notices that Mrs. Anderson, an 84-year-old woman who lives alone in the apartment next door, seems to struggle with heavy grocery bags and appears tired after her weekly shopping trips. One Thursday afternoon, Paul sees Mrs. Anderson returning from the grocery store, carrying multiple heavy bags and stopping frequently to rest. She looks exhausted and worried about dropping her groceries. Paul decides to offer his help. "Excuse me, Mrs. Anderson," Paul says politely, approaching her carefully. "Those bags look very heavy. Would you like me to help you carry them to your apartment?" Mrs. Anderson looks surprised but grateful. That's very kind of you, Paul," she says with relief. "These bags are much heavier than I expected, and my arthritis is bothering me today." Paul takes the heaviest bags and walks slowly beside Mrs. Anderson to her apartment door. As they walk, she explains that grocery shopping has become increasingly difficult for her, especially during winter months when sidewalks are slippery and carrying bags feels dangerous. "I worry about falling," Mrs. Anderson admits, "but I need to buy my own food and don't want to bother anyone for help." Paul realizes that Mrs. Anderson values her independence, but could benefit from physically demanding tasks. He offers to help with her weekly grocery shopping, suggesting they could go together or he could shop for her when needed. "I go to the grocery store every Saturday morning," Paul explains. "If you'd like, I could pick up items for you, or we could go together. It would be no trouble for me, and I'd enjoy the company." Mrs. Anderson accepts Paul's offer gratefully. They arrange that she will give him her grocery list and money each Friday evening, and he will deliver her groceries on Saturday afternoon after his own shopping. The following Saturday, Paul shops for both himself and Mrs. Anderson, carefully checking items against her list and choosing the freshest produce and products. When he delivers her groceries, Mrs. Anderson is delighted with his selections and insists on paying him a small tip for his kindness. "Please, Mrs. Anderson," Paul says, refusing the extra money. "I'm happy to help, and it doesn't take much additional time since I'm shopping anyway." As weeks pass, Paul and Mrs. Anderson develop a comfortable routine and genuine friendship. She begins sharing stories about her late husband, her children who live far away, and her years working as an elementary school teacher. Paul enjoys learning about her life experiences and appreciates her wisdom and humor. Mrs. Anderson starts inviting Paul for coffee after grocery deliveries, and he looks forward to their Saturday afternoon conversations. She shares old photo albums and tells fascinating stories about changes in their neighborhood over the decades. "You know, Paul," Mrs. Anderson says one Saturday afternoon, "your help with grocery shopping has given me more than just food. It's given me a friend and something to look forward to each week. I was feeling quite lonely before you started helping me." Paul realizes that helping Mrs. Anderson has enriched his own life as much as hers. Their friendship has taught him about different generations, local history, and the value of intergenerational connections that might not have developed otherwise. When Mrs. Anderson's daughter visits for Christmas, she thanks Paul personally for his kindness to her mother. "Mom talks about you all the time," she says. "She says you've become like family to her, and your help allows her to continue living independently." Paul feels proud that his simple offer to help has created such a meaningful relationship and enabled Mrs. Anderson to maintain her dignity and independence while receiving the support she needs. 6 months later, other neighbors begin asking Paul about organizing similar assistance for elderly residents in their building. His individual act of kindness inspires a broader community support network that helps multiple senior citizens with various daily challenges. Jessica decides to start volunteering at the community food bank after hearing about food insecurity in her city during a local news report. She wants to contribute to her community but has never volunteered before and feels nervous about the experience. On her first volunteer day, Jessica arrives at the food bank early and meets coordinator Susan, who explains how the organization works and what Jessica's role will involve. "We provide food assistance to families and individuals who are experiencing temporary financial difficulties," Susan explains. "Our volunteers help sort donations, pack food boxes, and distribute meals to people in need." Susan gives Jessica a tour of the facility, showing her the storage areas where donated food is organized by type and expiration date, the packing area where volunteers assemble boxes for families, and the distribution area where community members come to receive assistance. "Every person who comes here has a story," Susan tells Jessica. "Some are temporarily unemployed, others are senior citizens on fixed incomes, and some are working families who still struggle to afford enough food. We treat everyone with respect and dignity." Jessica begins her volunteer work by sorting canned goods and checking expiration dates. She works alongside Maria, an experienced volunteer who teaches Jessica the organizational system and shares insights about the food bank's impact on the community. "I've been volunteering here for 3 years, Maria explains. "It's amazing to see how donated food directly helps families in crisis. Sometimes the difference between having dinner or going hungry is the food box someone receives here." During the distribution hours, Jessica observes families and individuals arriving to collect food assistance. She notices that people come from diverse backgrounds and circumstances: young mothers with children, elderly people living alone, and working adults who need temporary help. Jessica's job involves helping people carry heavy boxes to their cars and providing information about other community resources. She learns to interact with recipients respectfully, understanding that asking for help can be difficult and embarrassing for many people. "Thank you so much for your help," says a single mother with 2 young children. "This food will help us get through the week until my next paycheck. I'm grateful that places like this exist when people need support." Jessica feels moved by the woman's gratitude and realizes how important the food bank services are for community members facing economic challenges. She begins to understand that food insecurity affects people who might be her neighbors, co-workers, or acquaintances. Over several months of regular volunteering, Jessica develops relationships with other volunteers and gains a deeper understanding of poverty and food access issues in her community. She learns about the complex factors that can lead to food insecurity: job loss, medical expenses, housing costs, and unexpected emergencies. Jessica also discovers that volunteering provides personal benefits beyond helping others. She feels more connected to her community, has made new friends among fellow volunteers, and experiences satisfaction from contributing to meaningful work. Volunteering here has changed my perspective on many things, Jessica tells her family during dinner. I've learned that people need help for many different reasons and that food insecurity can affect anyone during difficult times. Jessica decides to organize a food drive at her workplace, encouraging colleagues to donate non-perishable items to support the food bank's mission. Her enthusiasm motivates others to get involved, and the workplace food drive becomes an annual tradition. The experience teaches Jessica that individual volunteer efforts can multiply when people inspire others to participate in community service and social action. Chen works in a busy office where his colleague Monica has been feeling stressed and unhappy lately. Monica's birthday is coming next week, but she mentioned that she probably won't celebrate because she's been dealing with personal problems and doesn't feel like having a party. Chen thinks Monica deserves something special to cheer her up and decides to organize a surprise birthday celebration at work. However, planning a surprise party requires coordination with multiple coworkers and careful planning to keep the event secret. Chen starts by talking quietly to Jake, Monica's closest work friend, about the surprise party idea. Jake thinks it's wonderful and agrees to help coordinate with other team members. Monica has been having a really tough time lately, Jake says. A surprise party would definitely lift her spirits and show her that people care about her. Chen and Jake make a list of coworkers who know Monica well and would want to participate. They decide to keep the party small and intimate, inviting only people from their immediate work team. The planning involves several challenges: finding a time when Monica will be away from her desk, decorating the conference room without her noticing, organizing food contributions from team members, and ensuring everyone can attend the surprise without Monica becoming suspicious. Chen takes responsibility for coordinating decorations and asks each team member to contribute something for the party. Sarah will bring a birthday cake, Mike will provide drinks, Linda will bring plates and napkins, and others will contribute snacks or small gifts. "We need to be very careful about timing," explains to the group during a secret planning meeting. "Monica usually goes to lunch at 12:30 on Fridays. That gives us 30 minutes to set up everything in the conference room before she returns." The week before Monica's birthday, Chen faces several complications. The conference room gets booked for an unexpected meeting, Sarah gets sick and can't make the cake, and Monica changes her lunch plans, threatening to discover the surprise preparation. Chen demonstrates problem-solving skills by finding alternative solutions. He reserves a different meeting room, arranges for Jake to buy a cake from a local bakery, and convinces Monica to take her lunch break at the usual time by asking her to run an errand. On Friday afternoon, the plan unfolds smoothly. While Monica is at lunch, the team quickly transforms the meeting room with colorful decorations, arranged the food and gifts, and gathered together to wait for her return. Monica's reaction exceeded everyone's expectations. She begins crying happy tears and hugs each team member, expressing gratitude for their thoughtfulness and kindness during a difficult period in her life. "I can't believe you all did this for me," Monica says emotionally. "I've been feeling so down lately, and this surprise makes me feel so loved and supported. Thank you for caring about me." The birthday celebration becomes a memorable team bonding experience. Colleagues share funny stories about working with Monica, she opens thoughtful gifts that show how well her coworkers know her interests, and everyone enjoyed cake and conversation in a relaxed atmosphere. Chen feels proud that his initiative created such a positive experience for Monica and brought the team together in a meaningful way. He realizes that organizing the surprise party required leadership skills, coordination abilities, and consideration for others' feelings. The success of Monica's surprise party inspires the team to celebrate other special occasions together, creating a more supportive and friendly workplace culture where colleagues look out for each other's well-being. "Chen, thank you for organizing this," Monica tells him privately after the party. "You turned what was going to be a sad birthday into one of the best days I've had in months. Your kindness made all the difference." Maria speaks both English and Spanish fluently because she grew up in a bilingual household. She works at the local city hall and often encounters people who need help communicating in English about important services like driver's licenses, birth certificates, and business permits. One busy Tuesday morning, Maria notices an elderly man standing confused at the information desk, holding several papers and looking frustrated. The receptionist is trying to help him, but there's clearly a language barrier preventing effective communication. Maria approaches the situation and asks the man in Spanish if he needs assistance. His face lights up with relief when he hears his native language. Sí, por favor, the man says gratefully. I need to register my new address for voting, but I don't understand the forms or what documents I need to bring. Maria translates between the man and the receptionist, explaining the voter registration process step by step and helping him understand which documents are required. She also provides information about voting procedures and important dates for upcoming elections. Muchas gracias, the man says after completing his registration. Without your help, I would have left confused and unable to vote. You made it possible for me to participate in my community. This interaction makes Maria realize how often language barriers prevent people from accessing important services and participating fully in civic life. She decides to volunteer as an informal translator when she has free time at work. Maria begins keeping a list of common services and their requirements translated into Spanish, which helps her assist people more efficiently. She also learns about community resources that provide services in multiple languages. Her supervisor notices Maria's helpful translation work and officially recognizes her bilingual skills as a valuable asset to the City Hall's customer service. Maria receives additional training in interpretation techniques and becomes the designated Spanish language liaison. The role expansion allows Maria to help more people navigate complex government processes, from applying for business licenses to understanding tax requirements. She feels fulfilled knowing that her language skills create opportunities for people to access services they need. Maria's work demonstrates how bilingual individuals can serve as important bridges between communities and institutions, helping ensure that language differences don't prevent people from participating in civic life and accessing essential services. Tom notices that his neighborhood park has become littered with trash, and the playground equipment needs cleaning and minor repairs. Instead of just complaining about the problem, Tom decides to organize a community cleanup day to improve the park for everyone. Tom starts by creating simple flyers announcing a neighborhood park cleanup day and posting them in local businesses, on community bulletin boards, and in apartment building lobbies. The flyer includes the date, time, and a list of supplies people should bring. Join us for a community cleanup day at Riverside Park, the flyer reads. Bring gloves, trash bags, and cleaning supplies. Let's work together to make our neighborhood beautiful. Tom also contacts the City Parks Department to get permission for the cleanup event and to arrange for disposal of collected trash. The Parks Coordinator is enthusiastic about the volunteer initiative and offers to provide some cleaning supplies and tools. On cleanup day, Tom arrives early to set up a volunteer check-in table and organize supplies. He's nervous that nobody will show up, but slowly people begin arriving. Families with children, elderly residents, teenagers, and dog owners who use the park regularly. Thank you for organizing this, says Jennifer, a mother with 2 young children. My kids play here every day, and I've wanted to do something about the litter problem but didn't know how to start. Tom assigns different tasks to volunteer groups. Some people focus on picking up trash and recycling, others clean playground equipment and benches, and a few work on pulling weeds and planting flowers in the garden area. The work goes faster than expected because many hands make light work. Children enjoy helping their parents, and the cleanup becomes a social event where neighbors meet each other and chat while working together. After 3 hours of work, the park looks dramatically improved. The playground is clean and safe, trash has been removed, and the garden area looks neat and welcoming. Volunteers feel proud of their collective accomplishment. Look how beautiful our park looks now, Tom announces to the group. This is what we can achieve when we work together as a community. Thank you all for your time and effort. The cleanup day creates ongoing momentum for park maintenance. Several volunteers exchange contact information and agree to meet monthly for smaller maintenance projects. Tom organizes a rotating schedule so different neighbors take turns monitoring the park's condition. The success of the park cleanup inspires similar projects throughout the neighborhood. Other residents organize cleanup days for different areas, creating a culture of community involvement and shared responsibility for neighborhood improvement. Tom realizes that his initial idea has grown into something much larger, a network of neighbors who care about their community and are willing to work together to make positive changes. What wonderful stories of kindness and connection we shared today. Paul helped his elderly neighbor with grocery shopping and discovered a meaningful friendship. Jessica volunteered at a food bank and learned about giving back to her community. Chen organized a surprise birthday party that brought his team together and lifted a colleague's spirit. Maria used her bilingual skills to help people access important services. And Tom started a neighborhood cleanup project that created lasting community connections. These stories show us that acts of kindness don't have to be big or expensive to make a real difference. Simple gestures like helping with shopping, volunteering time, organizing something nice for others, translating for others, or starting a neighborhood cleanup project can create positive changes that spread throughout communities. Remember these important words today: assistance, grateful, coordination, bilingual, and collective. These words help you talk about helping others and working together to make good things happen. The most important lesson from all our stories is that kindness is contagious. When one person shows care for others, it often inspires more people to help and connect. Small acts of service can grow into larger movements that strengthen communities and build friendships across different backgrounds and generations. I hope these stories inspire you to look for ways to show kindness in your own daily life. Maybe you could help a neighbor, volunteer somewhere, organize something nice for others, use your skills to help people, or start a project that brings people together. Thank you for listening to English Learning Stories. Keep practicing your English by listening to these stories again and noticing how people express kindness and gratitude. Learning English helps you connect with people and participate in acts of kindness around the world. See you next time for more inspiring English stories about the power of human connection and community spirit. Have a beautiful week, and remember that every act of kindness makes the world a little brighter.